Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about the Jago and Lightfoot story, The Spirit Trap, written by Jonathan Morris. This story is the third story in season 1 of Jago and Lightfoot. Got there. And as you can see, I've got the original Big Finish cover on CD. And like always, what I do with these is that I make my own DVD covers. Because I wasn't too keen on just generic cover, I made my own printout. And I think this one is probably my best work out of the Jago and Lightfoot series. Look at that. And the spine, if anyone's interested. Very nice. And back. Now, Jonathan Morris has a very particular kind of style. He goes for a sort of Douglas-inspired storytelling, and at the same time, he goes for a story talking about death, and this one is no exception. This is by far my favourite of season 1 of Jago and Lightfoot. This story, man, what a brilliantly written story. So what's been happening? So Jago and Lightfoot, they go and see Ellie, the bartender friend that's been in the last 2 stories. And she's talking about her experience with a medium, Mrs. Vengar, who can speak to ghosts. And whilst Lightfoot is very interested, he's like into the story that she's telling. Jago being very familiar with the theatrical endeavours of the theatre, he coughs at it basically. He thinks it's all just an act and stuff. And it starts off looking pretty obvious that it was a trap. This woman is just making it up. She seems to be guessing the names very vaguely. She says like a name of a king, and she just lists a bunch of names of kings until Ellie actually gives the name Jim, and she just is like, very well. Can you ask? He says, I'm doing very well. He says, don't worry about me. And then the story seems to be kind of straightforward at that point until Ellie reveals that she asked Jim, the past brother that was in the first story, how he died. To which Vingard explained that he died by a gunshot, which shocked Jago and Lightfoot, as his death wasn't made public. Obviously, his death was made public, but how he died wasn't. And so they decide to basically help with Ellie's thing. They're going to go to see Miss Vanguard and have a seance with her. And they meet her, and my God, the woman who plays Miss Vanguard, Janet Henfry, what a fantastic actress. She does a great job at doing believing this is like a medium character. She's been in Doctor Who before. Some of you might know her from The Curse of Fendrick, and others might know her as the woman that dies in the start of Mummy on the Orient Express, the 12th Doctor story. So, yeah, very great actress to got this character, and they have a little seance, and she's contacted with someone, and Jago tells everybody that it might be her aunt, and she's like, yes, it's your aunt. And Jago, she says, how are you doing? I am well. And Jago's like, can I ask her a question? Sure. And Jago's like, I'll see you on Tuesday. What? Yeah, she isn't dead. I love that bit. And it just shows what... the best thing about the story is that it shows the strengths and weaknesses of both Jago and Lightfoot. Jago is a very skeptic person because he's seen the theatrical world and he knows that everything like this is like a put on, it's a show, and that this person is taking advantage of poor Ellie, who is grieving. And Jago, Lightfoot, he's a bit more somber tone. In fact, after he revealed that Vingard is a charlatan, when in the act there's like a bumping noise from the cabinet, Jago pressed a string near Vingard's finger, which was making the banging noise, which was part of the act. And and so they work, and Jago and Lightfoot leave, only for Ellie to stay behind, and Vingard does another little seance just for her, as she tries to explain that spirits kind of like take the mick out of Jago to try and get him away. Yeah, you can see there's something wrong here. But whilst this is all going on, Lightfoot is having his own little investigation as a man comes knocking on his door and says that his wife has gone missing, but for the past few days she hasn't been acting like herself, and that the last time he's seen her normal was just before she went and met Miss Vanguard. So that puts a little bit of a mystery. She went missing, and this guy went to Lightfoot, and they find the wife's body after a furnace, after like a house had been caught on fire, and the story doesn't seem to make sense. The wife character had seemed to be telling people to get away from the fire before it even happened, and the blast came from a room where no kitchen appliance appeared, and going by the blast radius on the walls and stuff, Lightfoot seducts that she didn't start the fire, she was the fire I'm not even going to pronounce it. You can look it up when people randomly start bursting into flames. It's a real thing that people believed, especially back in those days, which is kind of a shock. There's even a film based after it. It's hilarious. I can't remember. I'll put it there. Right? Okay. And so yeah, and when Lightfoot is like, right, this thing happened, she acted really strange after meeting Miss Vanguard, and he's like, oh no, Ellie's gone missing as well, so we got to get rushing back to her. But before that, Jago had his own little investigation on trying to find where Ellie is, and remembering that the last time he saw her was in Miss Vanguard, he goes to Miss Vanguard's place, where, to his surprise, after knocking the door, Vanguard's new servant is Ellie, to which she doesn't seem to recognise Jago, and Jago starts off being like, right, he came here to give Miss Vanguard a bit of her mind, but then he pretends to be like, yeah, actually I believe in the spirits, there might be something in this after all, and then he goes, oh, by the way, Ellie, your brother sends his love, and she doesn't act like she knows that her brother is dead. And I really like that it takes a while to get the real threat into it. It builds up the tension. You start off thinking that this might just be a little act. This might be just something like an act that's gone way too far. But secretly, it's a bit more threatening than that. It's a bit more juice in the storyline, which I really like. And Jago goes there and he has his own little one-to-one seance, only for him to actually see ghosts, and that the cabinet, which I mentioned previously, gets sucks him in. Not his body, his astral projection, as a creature has possessed his body, which Miss Vanguard believes that it's a spirit of the dead that she's been talking to. So So Lightfoot and this guy who's looking for his wife go to Miss Vanguard, and just before they go to the door, they see Ellie and Jago. And when Lightfoot speaks to Jago, he notices that something's not right. He speaks differently, he doesn't recognise him. And so Lightfoot pretends to be a new customer for Miss Vanguard, to which Jago takes him to Miss Vanguard. And the story then just has a lot of running around in terms of the type of story it's playing at. But I think it does it very well. Throughout the story, we've had a build up to the mystery, and now that we know basically most of the plot line, we get this bit where we get people revealing details and stuff, and it's just a fantastically written piece of adventure. So, what is actually happening? Jago meets Ellie's astral projection form in this cabinet room, and they kind of work out that this is not death, they're not dead. And Lightfoot works out and explains that Vanguard is taking advantage of people, and Vanguard leaves the room so that Jago can look after him, because she needs to charge her powers. The evil Jago reveals what's basically happening. These are actually spirits from a long-distance war into the far future that's lost their bodies, and they have come back to this time and possessed the body, taken advantage of somebody's body to let them inhabit other people's bodies. And I will admit, that does sound like a massive rip-off from the 2005 story, The Unquiet Dead, in which a very similar thing happens. And yeah, that is a great complaint. It's basically a remake of The Unquiet Dead. But it's a good remake, if that makes sense. It's a good reinterpretation of the story. In fact, I would even argue this might be a little bit better, because I'll explain what later in the episode. And we get a lot of action and and everything's sorted by the end. The spirits go back to their cabinet. All the bodies are put back. And Miss Vanguard seems to not remember anything. She doesn't remember any of these people. She even admits that her act is just a theatrical trick. And and that's basically the story. The guy, the husband character, got in contact with the box of these spirits, and he heard his wife spirit, to which he stayed there to let it blow up with him. But he also heard another voice connecting with the future. Who could that be? We'll have to find out in the next story of Jago and Lightfoot. So overall, great story. It tackles with the taking advantage of people's mourning. That's what this story is about. It starts off with people believing that Vanguard is taking advantage of Ellie's grief that she, she's sad, she's in mourning, and Miss Vencard comes and tricks her. To which Jago and Lightfoot reveal that that's just a charlatan. Only it turns out that was actually real, and slowly we learn that Miss Vencard's been played for a fool as well. And so the story is all about how people would try and take advantage of people, taking advantage of their mourning, taking advantage of what they think they believe. And it's just a great story that, which for that reason alone makes it just a little bit better than The Unquiet Dead, in my opinion. So yeah, great story. Go buy season 1 of Jago and Lightfoot and give it a listen. So join me next time where the Doctor and Leela get introduced to a new companion, the Doctor's loyal companion, and the Doctor's first pet. So join me next time for The Invisible Enemy and the introduction of K9. See you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-ra.